So autofocus points. Now this is really important when you're taking a photo because you want the right part of the photo to be in focus. Now selecting your autofocus point varies massively camera to camera. So this is another tricky one for me to convey to you without having your manuals and stuff like that, because it really varies camera to camera. So get your manuals out, have a look online if you haven't got your manual, and see how you do this. So on most cameras you have either a button like this highlighted in your download which you can push and select your autofocus point, or you have a little joystick on the back of the camera that you can use to move your focus point around. And I've highlighted them there. So normally what you would do is you would push a button like this and then move your dial to select your focus point, or on this Sony you just use your joystick to select it, and you can either see that focus point on DSLRs, you'll see it highlighted in red when you push that button in and move that dial, and you'll see it change as it goes through the different focus points. On some cameras you will start to move that around, and at some point it will start to act, all your focus points will start to flash red, and that means that all those focus points are now activated. And that moves us on to the next side of this, which is focus area. So if you go into your menu system, it will be listed as something like focus area, and you can activate it from a small area, focus area, to a wide focus area. Now if you're photographing something that's relatively still, so basically the finer your focus point, the more accurate your focus is going to be. So the finer focal point you have, the more accurate you can make, and the more you can have the right thing in focus. However, if something's moving, it can be much trickier to get that correct focus with that fine focus point. So if we're looking at something like a Kestrel or a runner or a motorcyclist, something like that, you tend to want to use a wider focus area because it's going to pick up on that focus much quicker. So this is more accurate, but it's trickier. So this is quicker but less accurate. So there's a payoff between the two focus modes, and there is on most cameras, certainly on the DSLRs, variations. You don't just go from this massive wide focus area to this fine point, you can sort of bring it down a little bit as well. So quite often when I'm focusing on birds in flight, I will have maybe a sort of slightly bigger area, focus area like that, so, and I'll try and keep that level with the head of the bird, so there's a better chance of the eye being in focus. So it's a tricky thing to get right, and I've practiced it a lot, and I've made a lot of mistakes in focusing as well. So it's one of those things that will, the more you do it, the more progressive it becomes and the more intuitive it becomes, and the more I switch between these fine autofocus points and these wider autofocus points all the time, particularly in wildlife photography as well. So look at your manual and really get used to it and absorb the changing those autofocus points, because it'll be really useful and beneficial to your photography and really help you improve.